The end. It has finally come. I am Elizabeth, Queen of England, the daughter of 1,000 hopes, the last of the Tudors. But I am tired now, so very tired. They whisper in the halls of Whitehall. They say I have ruled too long, that England must have a new monarch. But who will it be? No heir bears my blood. I am the last of my line. They call me Gloriana, the Virgin Queen, the ruler of a golden age. But when all is stripped away, what remains? Power is a heavy thing, but solitude is heavier still. The sea, the wind, the cry of battle, the sound of my own heart beating. I remember it now, the moment when England stood on the edge of ruin, and I, alone, had to stand against the tide. They thought we would fall. They thought England was weak, that I was weak, but I was never meant to be weak. I know I have the body of a weak and feeble woman, but I have the heart and stomach of a king, and of a king of England too. Did I believe it? That I was strong enough? That I could defy the greatest empire in the world? Perhaps, or perhaps I only hoped they would believe it. The sea was not kind to Spain that day, nor was England. We fought like lions, and when the storm came, as if summoned by fate itself, the great armada was shattered. England had won. They called it my greatest victory. The moment I became more than just a queen, I became legend, but legends are lonely things. They called me the Virgin Queen, the woman who needed no man, a ruler, not a wife, a sovereign, not a lover. But they never saw what I saw in the quiet hours of the night, when the weight of the crown felt heaviest. Robert, my sweet Robin, the only soul who ever truly knew the girl beneath the crown. He asked me once, "Elizabeth, do you ever grow tired of ruling?" What was I to say? That I longed for a life I would never have? That for all my power I was still a prisoner? I loved him. My Robin is dead. That is all it said. 4 words. And yet they undid me completely. They tried to make me wed. Kings, princes, dukes. A queen must marry, they said. A queen must bear an heir. I am married, my lords, to England, and I shall never take another. And so they painted me as the Virgin Queen. But they never knew the truth, a golden cage. That is what they placed upon my head that day. A crown of power, yes, but also a shackle, a promise to a nation, a surrender of the self. Elizabeth, by the grace of God, Queen of England, France, and Ireland, defender of the faith, I was 25. A girl, some would say. A woman, others whispered. A Tudor. All of them feared my father had 6 wives, all in pursuit of a son. And yet, it was I, a daughter, who had come to wear his crown. They cheered. They called me Gloriana. But I knew what they did not, that to be queen was to stand alone, to be both woman and ruler, forever at war with one another. I was no stranger to loneliness, to danger. I had lived in its shadow all my life. I had seen the inside of these walls before. I knew how quickly a crown could turn into a death sentence. My mother was here before me, Anne Boleyn, the queen of 1,000 days. They led her through these halls, past these very stones, and now I sat where she once sat, accused of treason, marked for death. Queen Mary, my sister, believed I had conspired against her, that I sought her throne. I swore my innocence. Each morning I woke wondering if it would be my last. If today the guards would come for me. If today they would march me to the scaffold as they had my mother, as they had so many before her. They told me I was too young to remember, but I do. I was born a princess, declared a bastard, raised in exile, marked for death. If I had learned anything by then, it was this. Survival was not given, it was taken. That day I left the tower. I was free, but I was never truly free again. A prisoner once, a queen now. But in the end, were they ever really so different? He never looked at me the way a father should look at his daughter. He looked at me and saw a ghost. I was the daughter of Anne Boleyn, the daughter of a woman he had loved once and then destroyed. I did not weep for her, not because I did not love her, but because I had learned early that tears did not change fate. The whore's daughter, she will never rule. I knew what they thought of me. I knew what they expected me to become, a forgotten girl, a woman tossed aside like my mother before me. I refused. The end of a dynasty, the end of an era, the end of me. I have outlived them all, my council, my courtiers, my friends, my rivals, and now I stand at the edge of history, the last of the Tudors. A Stuart will take my place, a man, a king. The world will move on, as it always does. And yet, I wonder, will they remember me? I once believed love was a luxury a queen could never afford. And yet, in the quiet of these empty halls, I find myself haunted by ghosts of what might have been. But love was never meant for me, only the crown. They will remember me, I think, not as a wife, not as a mother, but as a ruler, a queen who chose England above all else. I am married to England, and I shall never take another. It is quiet now, so quiet, and yet I still hear them, the voices, the echoes of a world I once ruled. They whisper my name. I remember the weight of it, the burden, the promise. I swore I would serve England above all else, and I did. I stood against an empire. I led my people through war. I defied kings. I ruled alone. I am married to England, and I shall never take another. I wonder, will they remember me? I am Elizabeth.